Hey, Brody.
Hey, Zach.
So how'd you feel about that Knights game?
It felt kind of like if you were to assign emojis to all of your friends, except in this case, your friends are the games, this one would be the closed eyed crying laughing emoji.
Why is that?
Because the Coyotes were trying so hard, but in the end, it didn't matter for them or for the Knights. But also, like, I'm still disappointed.
So today the Golden Knights lost 4-1 against the Coyotes, but it was all irrelevant. It's not an important game for us, and even because of Colorado's win, it shut the Coyotes out. So Coyotes aren't even going to playoffs despite this win.
Little bitches. I'm gonna play this one. I'm gonna play this one real loose, Zach.
Are
So
you unhappy with this
basically,
game?
yeah, I'm kind of unhappy about it. You want your team to like actually like go in and try for maybe the last two games. Maybe you don't. You come into this one and you're like, okay, well they're gonna really try because they're technically still alive or whatever. So like, let's not get hurt. So maybe you told your guys that. But at the same time, like seriously, you got to get in playoff shape sometime, please. Thank you. I'm not sure how much of that came across. You got to play a game in the regular season leading up to the playoffs like you're going to play in the playoffs. The game against the Oilers, that was pretty playoffy. That wasn't bad, but like today's game was not very good. Lots of turnovers. They might have well opened a pastry shop because they were giving away the turnovers left, right, and center. Also, I guess if they opened a pastry shop, they would go out of business because they were just giving away the turnovers.
Yeah, that would not be a good business
That
strategy.
should have been my intro about turnovers. Technically not pizza.
It's not pizza. Okay, well, let's talk about these stats here. So 38 shots on goal to 41 shots on goal. It's a fairly high game for shots on goal. We were
Yep.
just letting more of them through, I guess.
Yeah, and that's nothing bad against Fleury and his godly golden pads. He
Praise
was
be his
making
name.
great saves, and yeah, we'll get to it later. But I have a dispute over one of the goals. But like the rest of them, like he didn't really have a chance. Like the team has to play better in front of him. Like Fleury can only do so much.
At least I know it wasn't my boy's fault then.
It definitely was not Fleury with his Infinity Gauntlet's fault.
Well, let's talk about the our power play. We only had one power play, and how do we do this time?
It was technically a power play. It was right at the end of the game. We didn't have shit. We only got one power play because the refs are bullshit. The Yotes did not. I'm gonna be so frustrated in the playoffs. It's not even gonna be funny. If I'm already mad at the refs, I'm gonna be so fucking mad, dude. I can't wait. I'm gonna
So we didn't even get
feel.
to really play a power play.
Yeah, no, we deserved one for the cross check on Carpenter, but instead we got like coincidental. Carpenter got roughing. Whatever. Okay, just
Well,
like.
then what about the penalty kill?
Well, I was gonna say about a power play. The Coyotes have the best penalty kill in the league, and like we don't have a great power play, so I wasn't expecting much on it anyway. It was all right. It was all right. I would have liked to see the power play like go a couple times, and so maybe we'll see it wake up against the Kings. The Kings are a less disciplined team. Penalty kill. It wasn't bad. We did a good job trapping them in the neutral zone, preventing them from getting into the zone. When they did get into the zone, they did have a couple good chances. I saw some backdoor passes, which was really bad. Like that's the kind of stuff you don't want to see. It's so backdoor pass. Say you're set up in the left circle. A backdoor pass is similar to a cross crease pass where it goes across, but you generally a cross crease pass is going to go like circle to circle. A backdoor pass is circle to net. So it goes into the slot and then to the guy who's on the open side of the net. And so it's a lot more likely to go in than a cross crease pass, but also a lot harder to pull off. And so they weren't perfect backdoor passes, which is why none of them went in. And Fleury also like made an incredible save on one of them. But still, like you want to see that get cleaned up. But I mean, all things considered, I don't have a problem with our penalty kill. I think it was totally fine.
So taking a glance at the hits, it looks like this was kind of a violent game. I figured we'd be kind of playing it back, considering we don't want anyone to get injured going into playoffs.
Yeah, and Carrier and Reeves aren't even in the game. Yeah, I really don't think that hits is like a stat that's like that tells you like really anything useful. This game was like really what this tells you is that a lot of this game was fighting for pucks in the corners. It wasn't incredibly physical. I mean, if there was like a big hit stat, Like, maybe that would be more useful, but hits is not really a useful stat.
So let's dive right into the first. We're looking at the first goal of the game and the Knights' only goal of the game. Mark Stone bringing it in. How'd we get that goal?
The Yotes have it in their end, in their corner, and Stastny does the Stastny thing. Well, actually, it's sort of the Stone thing as well, and he just, like, picks a puck out of air and just knocks down the pass. He doesn't pass it to Stone. It's just like when he picks the puck down, it happens to go towards the front of the net, and Stone is right place, right time, puts it in. And so that was pretty cool to get a goal.
Did it make you feel like you had high hopes going into the rest of the game?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I
well,
mean, you like to see that line like get a little bit going. Stastny's been out for a little bit, so he looks pretty good. I mean, none of our guys looked particularly bad. I mean, obviously, besides the turnovers, they were skating. Nobody looked injured. Everybody's skating. I honestly, I don't know what happened. Just like people were just like giving up the puck left, right, and center. I'm like, it's almost to the point where they were like, Fleury was like, yo, this game doesn't matter. Just let them shoot on me as much bullshit as you can. Like, make me work for this one. But also, like, obviously, he wouldn't say that because like, don't make him like go crazy trying to make saves.
So, the one save he did not get in the first was Richard Panik scoring. Oh, Panic, sorry. Well, Richard Panik scoring a minute later. And this was the beginning of our downfall, the Coyotes' first goal. So sad.
Yeah. So basically what happens here is we like the Yotes enter the zone, they get a couple good chances. We get a takeaway, we can't clear the zone, they take it back, they get a lot of time in the offensive zone, and the more that happens, the more and more dangerous it gets because you start to panic, you're like, oh, I need to get it out. You know, it like you start gripping your stick a little bit harder. You just make simple mental errors. You want the game to be flowing a little bit more, and they had us trapped in our defensive zone for way too long, and this is sort of the natural result of that.
Well, that brings us to the end of the first. How do we feel about our first as a whole? It was a tie game at this point. You know, it didn't feel bad, but I mean, it was about to get a lot worse.
Yeah, in the shots are 15-11 for the Knights. I mean, that's pretty good shot total. Obviously, like 11 shots is quite a few shots. Like that would be, you know, that's a pretty good number of shots for the Yotes, and 15 is really good for us. I mean, you get 30 shots in a game, and you'd be like, oh, I mean, that's quite a few shots. And so we got 15 in the first period alone. It does kind of indicate something that was sort of true. We didn't have a lot of high quality chances, and it felt like we were sort of shooting from the perimeter, really low percentage shots. Kemper was playing really, really well, but I mean, he's an NHL goaltender. He should play well. And against those kinds of shots, I mean, the only one that went in was the one that, like, it would be incredible if he stopped it.
So that brings us into the second. The first goal of the second is 8 minutes in. Derek Stepan bringing in his 14th goal of the season, and it just feels bad.
Yeah, it was a really bad turnover by Theodore behind the net. He picks it up behind the net and then just sort of like skates it. I don't even want to say along the boards. He just sort of like runs it around the rim of the ice, and like not fast. Like there was no pace on it, and Kraus just steps in, takes it, passes it to Stepan, who's in front of the net, and he scores. Honestly, this one's Theodore's fault. He should put a little bit more pace on that puck and get it out of the zone. Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that. Like he just
8 minutes
didn't put
later,
enough pace on it.
Stepan brings in another goal. That's the Coyotes up 3-1 now. What happened there? How are we letting all these through?
This is a goal I have a lot of problem with. So this is off a face-off. The Yotes win the face-off. They get a shot away. Fleury stops that shot. One of the Coyotes players falls into Fleury and pushes him out of the net, and Stepan's there to pick up the rebound and puts it in. Now, you can make an argument that, like, would Fleury have had a good chance to stop it anyway? No, not really, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what goaltender interference is. From what I can tell, the guy who fell into Fleury was not pushed. To me, it was quite clear that he was not pushed because Theodore was facing the other way, who was the defenseman right there. It's like I couldn't think of a more, like, I mean, this isn't the best case of goaltender interference, but it seemed pretty obvious to me. Like, I don't know what this rule is. Nobody knows what the rule is. It's a meme that the rule doesn't make any fucking sense. So yeah, I don't know what goaltender interference is. If I had a genie
The refs
right now,
obviously don't know.
yeah, if I had a genie right now and I could like wish to know what goaltender interference was, the genie would probably like touch my brain and it would turn into a black hole because I have to know what a contradiction is. Like I have to like understand fucking like that staircase thing from Inception where you keep going up the same staircase. I have to like I view the world as an MC Escher drawing. It makes no sense.
Well, that brings us into the end of the second here. So, how do we feel about going on? I mean, it's 3-1 now. Things are looking even more bleak. Do we have much hopes for this game at this point?
Maybe. I mean, it's comebackable, and we played pretty well in the third period, but it seemed to me that the Knights had sort of given up at this point. It's the shots in this period were 12-8 for the Coyotes, and at one point they were 11-1 for the Coyotes. Like, oof, yeah.
So at this point, we had the news come through that the Coyotes had no chance.
Yeah,
They were
Colorado
eliminated from playoff contention.
Yeah, it was shown that Colorado had made it to overtime against Winnipeg, which surprising. Winnipeg's a really good team. I mean, obviously Colorado's a good team. So Colorado is going to be Calgary's opponent in the first round, and I'd like to see how that goes. I think Colorado has so Calgary does not have a great defense core, and neither does Colorado really. So if you're going to watch a series besides Vegas series, that might be really entertaining because it's probably going to be really high scoring.
Well, let's jump into the third here. 12 minutes in, you have Garland bringing in his 13th goal of the season, unassisted. And, I mean, are we just kicking it now? We don't really care about this period?
Just the turnovers, man. Just like apple turnovers, cherry turnovers, all the fucking turnovers, dude. Just turnovers left, right, and center, dude. Yeah, and the turnover was sort of like Theodore trying to like back pass to McNabb, who was behind the net. So just like don't pass at your net, dude. Please. No net passing.
So by the end of the third, we just know it was just a huge turnover period. Just all over the place.
The whole game was turnover. The whole game was an apple turnover. This game. Okay, all right, go back to the first slide. Just make it an apple and then like spin it upside down 100,000 times and then like don't even play any rest of this video. Go to your fridge, take out an apple and then spin it over a couple times and then put it back in your fridge because you don't want it right now, or eat the apple, whichever you prefer, and then you don't need to watch the game because you saw it.
Wow, that is some deep shit there.
Oof.
So, offensively, defensively, what could we have done better in this game?
Hey, don't turn the puck over.
Besides that.
Defensively, so it seemed like the Yotes' high-quality chances were takeaways and turnovers in our zone. The rest of it, you need to chip the puck out of the zone a little bit better. You need to like clear the zone, get things going. But I do think that there's a little bit of lack of motivation in the locker room right now, so maybe people are playing a little bit loose right now. So that would be the main defensive takeaway that I would say is like we need to chip the puck out a little bit better if we're not just going to say don't fucking turn the puck over every 4 seconds. So yeah, get the puck out of the zone. Offensively, like I said, we weren't taking really high quality chances. We did have some chances and they didn't go in because Kemper played well, but like the shots that we were taking, some of them weren't really high quality. And there was actually Carlson did go for like a through the legs goal like he did last season, like the highlight reel goal that you see all the time. He tried to do that again, so I think he's gonna get some shit for that based on how this game turned out. But I mean, like offensively, you need to get in the zone and get some sustained offensive zone time, which is not easy, but it's part of this team's identity. Is you need to be hard on the forecheck. You need to be the one taking those turnovers as well. So, yeah, all things considered, bad game.
Today, the Knights lose 4-1. We're playing against the Kings this Saturday, April 6th. How we feel about going into that game?
Maybe I should just, like, do the thing that I did to the Oilers, like, every time that, like, we're playing against a team that we're better than. Hey, the Kings are bad. We're better than them. They suck. We're better than the Kings. We should beat the Kings. We should play. I would look for the Knights to play playoff hockey because I think they're gonna get like a shit talking to after tonight's game, unless it was like, hey, take this one easy or whatever. No, I think they're going to get like a talking to in the locker room after this one. I don't think coach is going to be happy with this one. And I think that they're going to come out motivated for this one and then motivated to get moving in on the playoffs.
Does this game matter for either team?
Oh God, no. Like the Kings are like 29th in the league or some shit like that. Like,
So is this just going to be a violent game? Because I know the Kings are typically fairly violent, especially with
yeah,
us.
they're an older team, they're a slower team, they're a physical team. So like, yeah, you hate to see it because like you don't want to be like, yeah. I mean, but like people don't get injured all the time, so just like play smart, play physical if you have to beat the Kings. Play playoff hockey. It's not the kind of hockey we're going to play against the Sharks. The Sharks play a really open, fast sort of style, and that's what we're going to see in the playoffs is this really open, quick transition hockey with a lot of chances on either end of the ice. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of hitting because both of these teams are, both the Sharks and the Knights are a pretty physical team. Just in terms of like the general pace of play is going to be much, much quicker than what we're going to see against LA. And so you'd like to see the Knights take advantage of both their speed and their physicality to really bully around LA and take a win on this one.
We have one more game before we go to playoffs, and we'll talk about playoffs when we get to them. Let's hope for the best. Let's see how we can do it this last game against the Kings, and we will see you guys next time on VGK Recap.